Hello everyone! Welcome to Sophisticated DIY. I got a very nice Lululemon sweatpants and I like them so much that I decided to make one for Bianca, my BJD doll. She's incredibly athletic and she loves to be dressed in a sport wear. As Bianca is new to me and I'm familiarizing with her body and I haven't done a proper basic patterns for her, I took the Frida shoe jeans pattern for the smart doll and modified to the Lululemon design. There is a few things that I have to do in order to make this pattern work. This is what us fashion designer called pattern transformation. The Lululemon pant has a straight leg, but I really prefer the boot cut of this jeans, so I'm gonna make it a little bit more straight, but still leave the boot cut. I think it looks awesome. I have all my patterns, and this is pretty much the material I'm gonna use. I'm gonna use a sweatshirt cotton material. It's 100% cotton. And I'm gonna use this collar rib knit. This is mostly for t-shirts. Somebody gave that to me, but I think at 1/3 of the scale it will look like a regular waistband rib knit, right? And I'm gonna use as well a thin cotton material for the pocket. I'm gonna put all my pieces and I'm gonna cut them, making sure that they are all to the grain of the fabric. This is very important. Now that I have everything ready, I can go to my sewing machine and start sewing. I'm gonna start with the pocket. And basically this is the pocket back and I'm gonna put the facing on top so it looks good. But for now, I'm gonna tell you that I cut that piece of the pocket back a little bit too short, but I haven't realized that yet. We will see after what is the mistake. Until now, it looks great. It looks like it will be all perfect. So I have 2 pocket backs, one for each side of the pocket. And because I searched the facing, I can just sew it by top stitch. So I went all around. And as you can see, I still haven't realized, but the top stitch in the side is undesirable, right? So I should have got that piece long going to the back, but I haven't realized that yet. My next step is to join together the 2 front pieces. These pieces are very decorative, but at the same time they are doing a kind of dart, giving a nicer shape to the front of the pants. I'm sewing these 2 pieces together and now I'm gonna serge them separate because I'm gonna iron with the seam open so they are not that bulky. In the serger, I realized that it's a little bit tricky to serge because the seam allowance are very small. Even if I use my bones to help me, even though it's not impossible, it's a little bit tricky. So for the other side of the pant, I'm gonna serge them separately before sewing them, and that way it will be way easier. And then I'm gonna iron them with the seam open. This is your opportunity to iron it very well because after the pants is done, it's more difficult to iron. So I'm gonna make my pockets now, and I'm gonna add a little bit of the knit at the edge of the pocket just for decoration. Yes, I know. Even the Lululemon pants doesn't have that, but I think it will look great. So I'm gonna fold and sew the edge, and keep in mind that my pattern is not considered that I will have that piece. I'm marking the original sewing line of the pocket. I'm gonna go a little bit in, about 2 or 3 millimeters, and that will be the space that this piece will take in the pocket. Then I'm gonna place the edge of my knit material on the second mark I did, and I'm gonna sew it to the pocket. And now you can see that the knit meet the point that I marked before for the seam allowance, and that tells me that my sewing is correct and I have my pocket. I'm gonna do the same at the other side. Now I don't have to think that much because I know exactly what to do. And now is when I'm realizing the mistake I made. Now I see that that stitch I did is really, I don't wanna do it usually because you have a side seam. That doesn't matter, but now the yoke is connected, so there is no side seam there. Here I'm analyzing that the pocket back should have the whole measurement, so I'm going gonna add the material I'm needing so I don't have that stitch there. I'm gonna sew a piece of fabric and then I'm gonna stitch the whole thing and I'm gonna cut the excess. I think it's the easier way to fix that without opening everything. But I fixed that pattern for you so you will have the correct pattern. If you decided to make that design, you can make it for yourself to make it just bigger. The next step is to join the back pieces to the front pieces, and this will be a tricky seam because there is a lot of curve in here. Still, I don't know it yet, but I kind of did the curve too deep, and after I sew that, I'm clipping this seam allowance so it can spread and it won't pull that curve. It will be comfortable. And now let me show you something. This is a trick that is used on tailoring because that seam allowance will be so thick and I want to make a top stitch there. I'm grading this seam allowance. That means that I'm cutting the part of the seam allowance that is inside so I don't have that bulky material, and I'm making sure as well to make the scissor a little bit inclined just to make it a little bit more graded. After I insert the seam allowance, I'm gonna fold it towards the top part and I'm gonna make a top stitch. And look at that, looks really great. It looks very flat, as you can see. Even the fabric is very thick. The next step is very important that you don't forget. Now is the time to search the edge of your hem. If you don't do it now, it will be very difficult. And I'm ready to sew and search the inseam part of my pants. Now I'm gonna have 2 legs. And this is why the pants is pronounced as a plural, because before the pants were like that, 2 legs that you would join with some sort of lace up like a corset. But in our case, we have our pair of legs or pants, but we are gonna join it together by sewing. So this is our next step, join what we call the U-crotch. And to do that job a little bit easier, I'm gonna turn one of the leg inside out and I'm gonna put the other leg inside of the first leg. So I will have kind of a tube where both right side of the fabrics are facing each other. And I'm gonna make sure to sew first the bulky part just to be sure that this part will be okay, and then I can do the whole sewing of that U-crotch. And of course, after I sew that, I'm gonna serge it. And I have my pants that are almost done. As I said before, for the waistband, I'm gonna use the knit and I'm gonna take a little bit less of the length of the belt in the original pattern because the knit will stretch out a lot, of course. If I were use a not stretching material, then I would have done it with the same pattern. I'm sewing it by the center and then I'm gonna fold it and I have my waistband. Next, I'm gonna measure the elastic and I'm gonna measure with my doll, and this is more or less the height of that pant, and I'm gonna insert that elastic. This is a fold over elastic and I'm choosing this one because it's so soft. I love it. After I sew my knit, I'm gonna divide the pants and the waistband in 4 pieces and I'm joining them together. But I'm gonna cut first the excess of the fabric because I'm adapting the waistband to the width of that elastic. I'm gonna sew the 2 pieces together and oops, as it is a fold over elastic, the elastic didn't waste time to fold over. So that elastic won't work for this job, so I'm opening a little bit and I'm putting another elastic. This elastic I'm using is too strong for that job, but this is the only one I have, so it might work. I'm attaching the elastic to one of the sides, so I'm pulling to the other side and then I will have it in without any effort. And then I'm gonna make sure that the elastic is not twisted because sometimes it gets twisted before I sew the back part. Now is the time to clean that, and if you want, you can just leave it like that, but if you want it a little bit less bulky, you can top stitch down that seam allowance. The proper thing is to top stitch to the pants, but I top stitch to the waistband just because this material is so thick, but it's really not too proper. And then I'm gonna put a little bit of lace up. I will just sew it to the front just as a mock and make a nice bow. Although Bianca said that she would have preferred a knot, but you know, I'm gonna change it after. My next step is to make a hem, and I'm just marking the edge of the hem so I can fold it a little bit easily. And then I'm doing my hem. You could do the hem before joining the two pieces together, but I like it that way because it's more clean. And after I do my first stitch, I'm gonna do a second stitch so it looks more authentic. So my pants are done, and my next step is just to iron it. I'm inserting a stick to make my ironing job a little easier. And now is the time to try on Bianca to see how this pattern works. And I think it looks great. Look at all the details: the cord for the waistband, the top stitch, the functional pocket, the hem with the double stitch, the side piece at the front, the yoke. I realized that the piece of the yoke is a little too curved, and I fixed that on the pattern that I'm gonna give to you. And now that I see that everything is okay, I think Bianca deserves to be styled. She can wear her new pants to go to the airport, to go shopping, to go to the gym, to run some errands. Please let me know in the comments for what occasion she should wear those pants. I'm gonna put her socks and shoes. Today she's gonna wear Converse. She's gonna do yoga at the gym. She has a sport bra that she will keep, and she will wear a hoodie on top. This hoodie is so versatile because it's made out of merino wool. It keeps her warm when it's cold, but it's breathable when it's hot. It has real pockets. And before putting her wig, she will use a silicone cap. It helps the wig to stay on and not move. And here you go, her wig. Do you like it? She will wear today this fanny pack where she can carry all her needs. Let me know in the comments if you want me to make a video about how to make the fanny pack. Her hat, just in case the weather sometimes is a little bit tricky. Yep, it will be 11 degrees today. So she's gonna wear a scarf as well. And of course, she needs her music, her sunglasses, and there she is, all ready. She's gonna go shopping, and then she's going to the gym before going back home. And of course, she will do what she likes to do, take some pictures. If you find this video useful or entertaining, please give us a like, and don't forget to subscribe, share, comment. Bye!